Wellness Rhythm Show. Find your rhythm. Live your wellness.
Y'all, quick question. When was the last time you scheduled rest the way you schedule a workout? Like actually blocked it out, protected it, treated it as non-negotiable?
Right. And here's the uncomfortable answer for most people. They haven't. Rest gets squeezed in as leftovers. Whatever time is left after everything else.
Which means basically never.
Exactly. And here's what makes this genuinely interesting. The sports science community has been treating recovery as a formal training variable for decades. It's not a soft concept, it's a measurable, optimizable component of performance. The rest is part of the work.
That reframe alone honestly changed something for me. So today we're talking about recovery. Not as the thing you do when you're exhausted, but as the thing that makes everything else work.
Whether you're an athlete, a working parent, a pre-retiree trying to stay strong, or someone managing an aging parent on top of a full-time job, this applies to you.
So let's start with the basics. When most people hear recovery, they think sleep. And sleep is a huge part of it. But recovery is actually a much bigger umbrella, right?
It really is. The scientific framework breaks recovery into several categories: sleep, active recovery like gentle movement, nutritional recovery, and psychological recovery. Dr. Shona Halson at Australian Catholic University has published extensively on this. She describes recovery as any intentional strategy that restores physiological or psychological capacity.
Restores capacity. I love that framing. It's not about doing nothing, it's about refilling the tank.
Precisely. And the key insight is this: adaptation doesn't happen during the stress. It happens during the recovery from the stress, whether that's a hard workout, a demanding work week, or an emotionally draining conversation.
Okay, this connects to something I've been thinking about a lot since our strength training episode. I've started and stopped lifting weights roughly 4 times. And David, I genuinely think one reason I kept quitting was I wasn't recovering properly. So I was always sore, always tired, and my brain just said, this isn't worth it.
That's actually well supported. A 2019 review in Sports Medicine, looking at recreational exercisers specifically, found that inadequate recovery was a primary driver of dropout, not lack of motivation. Inadequate recovery. The body signals distress, and people interpret it as personal failure rather than a programming error.
A programming error, not a character flaw. Y'all, can we just sit with that for a second?
Yes, let's sit with it. In fitness terms, the cycle is stress, adaptation, recovery. Dr. Hans Selye's general adaptation syndrome, developed in the 1950s, is still the foundational model here. Stress the system, allow recovery, the system adapts upwards. Skip the recovery and you either plateau or regress.
Here's the thing, though. This isn't just about gym performance. I felt this exact cycle during my burnout period. I kept pushing harder because I thought the answer to exhaustion was more effort. And the cruelest part? I was too tired to do the very things that might have helped.
Right, and that's where the psychological recovery piece becomes critical. Dr. Sabine Sonnentag at the University of Mannheim has done outstanding work on work-related recovery. She identifies 4 key recovery experiences: detachment from work, relaxation, mastery, and control. And her research shows that people who genuinely detach in the evening have measurably better energy, mood, and performance the next day.
Detachment is the one that gets me, because I am a world-class just one more email person.
Most people are, and here's a number that should change that habit. Her longitudinal studies suggest that failure to psychologically detach is associated with increased exhaustion and depressive symptoms over time. This isn't a productivity tip, it's a health issue.
Okay, and this brings us to sleep, which I know is the cornerstone. What does the evidence say about how sleep specifically functions as recovery?
Matthew Walker's work at UC Berkeley, his book Why We Sleep, is probably the most accessible summary, establishes that sleep is when the brain consolidates learning, when muscle repair happens via growth hormone release, when the glymphatic system clears metabolic waste. The National Sleep Foundation recommends 7 to 9 hours for adults, but the quality matters as much as the quantity.
And I'll be honest, I used to think wine helped me sleep. I have since learned the hard way that it absolutely does not.
Correct. Alcohol suppresses REM sleep. You may fall asleep faster, but the sleep architecture is disrupted. Dr. Matthew Walker specifically calls alcohol a sedative, not a sleep aid. There is an important distinction.
A sedative, not a sleep aid. Okay, I wish someone had said that to me years ago.
Right. So, active recovery. This is worth discussing because people often think rest means lying still. But low-intensity movement the day after a hard effort, walking, gentle yoga, stretching, actually accelerates recovery by increasing circulation and reducing inflammatory markers.
This feels like permission to count my walking phone calls as a wellness strategy, which I'm choosing to accept.
It genuinely counts. Research from the Journal of Human Kinetics has shown that light walking after intense exercise reduces delayed onset muscle soreness significantly compared to complete rest. So yes, your walking calls are doing something.
And speaking of things that do something, this feels like the right moment to say, if you're finding this useful, please hit like and subscribe. It genuinely helps us reach more people who could use an evidence-based, judgment-free wellness conversation.
Greatly appreciated that. Now, let's address the skepticism angle because I want to be honest here. There is a version of recovery culture that has become a consumerist rabbit hole. Ice baths, hyperbaric chambers, wearable recovery scores. Does the average person need any of that?
Hard agree on this one. I have definitely been down that rabbit hole.
The honest answer is, for most people, no. A 2021 review in the British Journal of Sports Medicine looked at recovery modalities and concluded that sleep, nutrition and psychological rest have the largest evidence base and are available to everyone. Cold water immersion has some evidence for acute soreness, but the effect sizes are modest and the basic fundamentals dwarf the impact of the expensive add-ons.
So the gadgets are not the point. Sleep, food, mental unplugging, that's the actual foundation.
That's the foundation, and I'll add nutrition because it's under-discussed specifically in the context of recovery. Protein timing matters. Research from Dr. Stuart Phillips at McMaster University consistently shows that distributing protein across meals, including within a couple of hours post-exercise, supports muscle protein synthesis meaningfully. Not just for athletes, for anyone trying to maintain muscle as they age.
Which is everyone over 40, frankly. Okay, let's talk about what this actually looks like day to day. Because I think people know they need rest. The gap is, how do you actually build it in when life is full?
Right, so the research suggests a few practical anchors. First, treat recovery time as scheduled, non-optional. Dr. Hulson's work emphasizes that intention matters. Passive collapse at the end of a day is not the same as deliberate rest.
That distinction is so real. Doom scrolling on the couch while half watching television is not recovery. I've done that and woken up feeling like I've been run over.
Exactly. True psychological recovery involves something that is either genuinely relaxing or engaging in a way that provides a sense of competence and positive distraction. For some people it's reading, for others it's cooking, a walk, a conversation. It's quite individual.
For me, and I've only recently admitted this, sitting in silence for 10 minutes actually works, which feels ridiculous to say, but it's real.
Not ridiculous at all. It aligns with the detachment research. You are removing work-related cognitive demand, which allows the prefrontal cortex to downshift.
My prefrontal cortex is grateful, David.
As it should be. And one more practical point. For our listeners managing the sandwich generation load, caring for aging parents while raising children, the recovery deficit can become chronic before anyone names it. Dr. Sonnentag's research shows that caregivers specifically show disrupted recovery patterns that accumulate over months. The fatigue feels normal because it has become the baseline. It isn't normal.
That one hit close to home for a lot of our listeners, I know. If that's you, please hear this. You are not just tired, you are under-recovered, and that is addressable. Okay, so if there is one thing to walk away with today, I'd say it's this. Stop treating rest as something you earn. It is something you need. Schedule it, protect it, and know that the adaptation you're chasing, physically, mentally, emotionally, only happens in the recovery window.
And if you want to start somewhere specific, tonight, before you check one last email or turn on something noisy in the background, try 20 minutes of actual detachment. No work content, no passive scrolling, something that genuinely allows your nervous system to downshift. The evidence suggests tomorrow will be measurably better for it.
Y'all, thank you so much for spending this time with us. Rest well. And I mean that literally.
Brilliant. Right then, get some sleep.
This show is part of the VoxCrea.ai system. If you want a show like this for your organization without building it yourself,
go to voxcree.ai and request a sample episode.